episode 11 of the Sports Cars podcast. This week, myself and James go over the Premier League and EFL action from the weekend. Jordan delves into Lando's win in Zandorf.
Gentlemen, good evening. How are we doing?
Very well, yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, James.
Good evening, guys. How are we?
Very good.
Good. Where should we start today?
It's been a pretty exciting Premier League day today. Should we start there?
But I think the team of 86 players have finally found 11 that can play football together.
You know, I was watching a TikTok, and it was Jamie Carragher, and he was saying basically that Chelsea have got an unbelievable amount of players, and they're buying players, and they've got two, 3, 4, 5 positions per starter. And they haven't had the best of years. I say they've had the best of years. They've just beat Wolves 6-2, but Wolves, come on.
Yeah. From what I understand, and James might be able to back me up on this one, I guess it comes back to because are they now American owners or the English? But they kind of tried to do it the American way, where each team has like 3 to 4 for every single position.
It's almost like an American football team, isn't it? Where you've just got a massive squad of players, but they're buying these players on such long contracts as well that it looks like they're going to have this formula in place for another decade or so to come, because they're signing players at 19, 20 and giving them 7-8 year contracts, pretty much like they do in American sports.
Yeah, part of the reason for that, though, James, I don't know if you know that, was to do with if you spent 80 million on someone, but you did it on a 8-year deal, anything over 5 came off your FFP.
Yeah,
so it didn't account toward. But
does anybody want to have a quick guess at how much in total they've spent since Roman Abramovich sold the club?
1.2 billion.
Very, very close. 1.12 billion pounds. 1.32 billion euros. It's a net of 718 million minus 718 million. So they've obviously sold some players as well. But
and that 300 is being homegrown, what the class as homegrown talent. Yeah. So therefore, it's pure operating profit. If you sell a British player, it becomes pure operating profit, so it doesn't come into your FFP.
Ah, that's interesting.
So effectively, they're on 400 spent because they've wiped 300 off the 700 net.
Yeah,
it's weird. It's really complex. Really, really complex. But a good result for your boys, James.
Great game. Yeah, great game. I was working yesterday, so I did manage to get the second half in, and I thought Arsenal played well. I thought Villa played very well as well. I thought Villa were very quick on the counter-attack. They were up for it. Watkins at times looked quite dangerous, but I think David Raya, the goalkeeper, I think he's, with a couple of them saves he played yesterday, I think he's paid back 25 of the 27 million we paid for, to be honest with you.
Is that what he ended up paying, 27?
27 million we had bought him for, in the end. But it is a lot for a goalkeeper. It's not a lot in this day and age in football, but it's I think it's money well spent with him. Trossard, Saka played well as well yesterday. It was a really, really interesting game, and it was one of those teams that last year we couldn't beat, and it potentially cost us the title. So to go into it, and you saw how much it meant to the players. An Arsenal defender made a challenge, and they were celebrating like they just won the World Cup. It meant so much, and I think it was a really good result for us yesterday.
Yeah, it's just to context. We sold Raya to Coventry for 3 million. I think we sold him on for. Did we buy him from Coventry? I can't remember. We sold him on for 3 million. To Brentford, and then obviously gone to you. So we did have a percentage.
You get talent,
So, which is good because we've also cashed in on Sami Smodic, which he got his start in the Premier League yesterday away at Man City, and I thought this should be fun, and then he's on the score sheet 7 minutes later.
Oh, do you know what? I'm so gutted for Ipswich. I really wanted them to get something out and had to score so early on as well. But City coming back and scoring 3 goals in, what was it, 3 goals in 4 minutes?
Yeah.
To be honest, we discussed last week, they've had a difficult start to the season, but obviously they've got 2 of the big hitters out of the way. They shouldn't be disappointed with their performance out of the first 2.
I think Ipswich has got such a shit running to come. I think they've got. I think in the next 6 games, I think they're playing the top 4 through in the next 6. So,
yeah. Speaking of the top 4 or 5, as you would probably expect, City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Spurs, all up there. The surprise, I think, is Brighton.
Yeah, it's great, wasn't it?
They got this manager in from St. Pauli, and I know a little bit about St. Pauli because of the Celtic links, and he's 31 years old. He got St. Pauli into the Bundesliga, and everyone raves about him. So I think, and one thing that Brighton have done very, very well is recruit.
Yeah.
So I do think they'll be all right. But like you say, it's not. I don't really think that's a reflection on Man United yesterday. I thought they were a bit unlucky to goals chalked off.
Yeah, that one that come off that guy's. I can't remember the player. Come off his knee, didn't it? It was going in anyway. Come off his knee, but he was offside.
Yeah, Zakiri. It was a bit of an harsh one. The Rashford one was offside on the play before, so it's just how it falls sometimes, isn't it? Spurs 4-0 Everton. Jordan Pickford with a stinker, but
it's tough on Everton because they only had 14 fit players, so they haven't even got. They've got their starting 11, but they don't even have the required amount of subs to go for it. So it's a bit of a shit before they even start.
They've not brought anyone this year, have they? Because they haven't got any money. So I do know the Palace. Him that owns 40% of Palace is 45%. Has put his shares up for sale so that he can buy Everton. So hopefully that gets through quite quickly. Couple of semi-decent championship results. Leeds beat Sheffield Wednesday on Friday night. Sheffield Wednesday lost the first 2. Blackburn beat Oxford, which Oxford scoring quite probably the goal of the season already.
What is this? I've not seen this.
Keepers hoofed it up. Their players probably 30 yards. Their attacker's 30 yards from our goal. He's chested it down to his midfielder, who on the volley has just laced it with the outside of his right boot and just lobbed our keeper into the top corner from probably 40 yards out off a volley that came off a goalkeeper's kick. So, although that or Xhaka's goal in the Bundesliga would probably be up there, but I think the game in the EFL was Cambridge Blackpool. I don't know if with your working, James, if you've seen any of that.
4, wasn't it?
Yeah, but Blackpool 4-1 up away from home.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so Cambridge, managerless and could have been a couple of casualties already, really. But Blackpool 4-1 up away from home with half an hour to go and conceded 3 goals. Pretty poor, but bit of when you're playing at home, you do put a bit more in, I guess.
Yeah, 3-0 win for Wrexham as well.
Yeah, they look like they're going to lose Paul Mullin. Have you seen where he's linked with?
No.
I think he's linked to your boys down in Carrow Road.
Good old Norwich. Well, they need it because they only got a draw yesterday.
Yeah, a bit of a slow start from drew with Blackburn last week as well.
Yeah. No, I think they do well at a team like Norwich, to be honest with you. Your local team as well got a good result yesterday, didn't they?
Yeah, they seem to be, after losing last week, but they're there or thereabouts this week. That's all they need to do. Yeah. You've got next week, you play Brighton, but you're not the most excited lunchtime kickoff with Burnley Blackburn as the lunchtime game.
Lancashire derby.
Yeah, that'll be. It'll be nice. Hopefully, we turn up and we're actually not just shit. But then it's the big one on Sunday: Man United, Liverpool, and Celtic Rangers. So, bit of a derby weekend. I believe that's going into the international break, isn't it?
Yeah, it will be. Yeah, they always have an international break after 3 weeks, don't they, the season? So I think that's got Liverpool written all over it next week. I wouldn't surprise me if they get four on goal past United.
Yes, at Old Trafford. So it's at Old Trafford. So who knows? But we've sidelined Jordan for 10 minutes. There's been something happen in Europe this weekend.
There has been something happen. Monumental seismic change in the world of Formula One, and that would be an understatement.
You must have been excited.
I was extremely excited. So we're, of course, talking about the Dutch Formula One Grand Prix live from Zandvoort this afternoon. The result, of course, why I'm so excited is because Lando Norris not only picked up his second win in his career, second win of the season, and fastest lap to bring home all 26 points for McLaren, as well as Oscar Piastri finishing in fourth, bringing home his 12 points. So all round an absolutely outstanding kind of weekend for my team, McLaren. Red Bull second, Verstappen second by 23 seconds, Liam.
I did see it was a bit of a gap.
It's insane. Like he's won the last 3 races, Max Verstappen, at Zandvoort. And so Red Bull clearly know how to configure a car around here. And it wasn't a slow car, it just seemed poorly configured. The Red Bull ate through its tyres, and it would not sit still on the low-speed corners, or accelerated out the low-speed corners. It just seemed like he struggled to get that car around that track for 72 laps.
It just looked like it wouldn't turn. It just the understeer was incredible.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was a great result for Ferrari. 3rd place for Charles Leclerc and 5th place for Carlos Sainz. With Mercedes taking a bit of a battering. I mean, Lewis Hamilton knocked out in Q2, so started 14th after a 3-place grid penalty, and then George Russell just went backwards throughout the race with no race pace. So it was a good race. I enjoyed it, and especially because Lando won.
There's 9 races left. If Lando wins all 9 with 5 of the fastest laps and the relevant sprints, and Max Verstappen comes P2, Lando would win the championship by 1 point.
That is the most exciting thing you've said on this podcast ever. Do you know what, though? Just humour me for a moment. He finished in first place, 23 seconds ahead of Max. We've watched for the past 3 years Max Verstappen win by 22, 23, 24, 30, 50 a minute. We've watched him win in an extremely dominant car. Theoretically, if McLaren have unlocked something in this year's car over the other teams and continue to steam away at 22, 23 seconds, he doesn't have to win by 23 seconds. He can pole 5th and then work his way through traffic and win by 5 seconds. It could perfectly well be a possibility that one team again dominates the back end of the season.
Yeah. This weekend's probably been a little bit of an anomaly because, like you say, there was such a gap. But one of the big factors I've sort of seen, or one of the big things I've noticed, is that Max has been off it since Newey's left.
Yeah, I agree.
And was there certain things that he had, like in the car setup that he couldn't bring now to these other tracks? He couldn't change the aeros within certain things, and is that why Red Bull are ever so slightly?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the reason, but what you are saying is absolutely true. Since Newey announced his departure, that car has been off it. Obviously, Perez is struggling anyway. Reasonably good result for him in 7th, considering his recent form, but the Red Bull has been struggling generally since he announced his departure, and what it is, I don't know. Because obviously, if they've got a winning formula, just stick to the winning formula and don't change it. So it must be something, like you say, to do with the active air, setups and what they bring into each individual weekend. But is that Newey quiet quitting?
Yeah, it's. I don't know, but it's just timelines. It just matches up, doesn't it? So,
just super quick touching on the constructors, because that is exciting. Just 60 points separate the top 3, which is fantastic. So you've got Red Bull on 434, and you've got McLaren 30 points behind on 404, and then Ferrari just behind them on 370.
To just point out as well, Mercedes sat in 4th place with more wins than Ferrari, yet 100 points back. Just goes to show that consistently Charles and Sainz, to be fair, Leclerc has been top 5 nearly every single race.
Yeah, Mr. Consistent, he just can't kind of
activate something.
He can't convert that. Yeah, is it a whole package thing though? Leclerc's definitely fast over one lap, but is it a whole package thing? Can the team not produce a race-winning car strategy, race car, driver, weekend, everything?
Yeah,
thing.
No, we shall see. I think it'll be interesting to see where the Red Bulls place next year, and I think if Max knows it's not going to be a competitive car, then is he going to sit tight at the Red Bull when there's a Mercedes seat available? I don't know. So there's been not as much in the silly season. You've still got obviously Jack Doohan's going to Alpine for next season, and I thought that we would have heard a bit more on the Mercedes, but I think apart from a minor slip up from Toto, Kimi Antonio's going to be there.
Yeah, I think so. It's always been rumoured for quite a while. Maybe I would have liked to have seen Mick, but Mick's had his shot. Yes, it was an ass, but we'll see what this guy can produce.
Yeah. No. We don't cover much cricket on here, but that's only because I really watch Test cricket. I don't really watch T20s and things. It's been a good week for England, who saw off Sri Lanka with a day still to play. But I think, considering there's a few sort of, some of the old boys in Anderson, Broad that have gone, and they've not got Stokes and Bairstow, they've kind of been all right. England, I think it was a good win against Sri Lanka. The first innings, I can't find the thing. Smith hit 111, which he went on 111, which is obviously the one score you don't want to get as a cricketer, because it looks elder off. But a few of the commentators and things like that are saying that Smith's going to be there for good now, kind of thing, and that's not going to be his last century for England. So with Bairstow out and Jamie Smith on the wickets, hopefully with Root, Brook and Smith, England are going to have a really good batting attack for a while. But we shall see. It's Sri Lanka, it's not one of the big boys, so.
Yeah, I think that's where when you play like a big team like Australia, Pakistan, that's when your
big boys are going to come out.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it.
You're all right batting for egos against Sri Lanka, like great. But
yeah.
What happens when someone can throw a ball at you really, really quickly?
Yes, exactly. I know I've been keeping tabs on it, James, but there's no news out of Kansas City for Lewis Rees-Zammit as of yet.
I've not seen anything. I've just watched you two been talking about Formula One. I've just been flickering through all that, and I can't see anything at the moment because haven't they got to put their preliminary 53 through? Yeah, and I thought that was Friday they had to do it. So We're a bit late if they are.
Yeah, so I don't know. I can't now find what I found that says that. So, fingers crossed.
I'll tell you what I did see, though, going off of the football, and I know we spoke a lot about it over the last few weeks with the Olympics on, but we spoke about that Swedish guy that was doing the pole vault, who kept upping his height by a centimetre at a time.
Yeah.
So he's again broken his own world record today, and that then gets him another Brucey bonus. Like we were saying, every time he breaks it at each tournament, he gets a big chunk of change. So he's again broken his world record today, so you'll get a nice little payout for that as well. But there was a Norwegian guy running the 3,000 metres, and he broke the world record that has stood for 28 years.
Wow.
Broke it by 3 seconds.
Do you know what? 3K
he got $50,000 for that.
Cool. It's incredible. I think.
So that's so just to interject. So the 3K world record 2 hours ago, Norway's Jakob Erigbetsen.
Probably that's why I didn't try and pronounce it.
7:17:55.
My best for 1K is like 4:16 or something like that.
He's running like 2.5 times.
I couldn't get 2K done in the time he does 3.
Yeah,
like I'd probably, if not double, 1.5 times the. It's incredible that.
Do you know what? He smashed it as well. He's the first athlete in history to break the 7:20 barrier. So when we're talking about world records, we're talking about like super fine margins. He's beat it by 2.5 seconds at least.
Yeah, that is fast. When I really break it down, that is really fast. So, but no, well, gentlemen, it's been a fairly quiet one. Again, we've got a little bit of football going on this week, so hopefully we'll have a little bit more to talk about next week. Is there a race on next week, Jordan?
Yes, we are in Monza.
Oh,
another race for Lando to win.
Announce Kimi. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, we will catch up next week.
Take care.
See you in a bit.
See you later.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Sportscast podcast. As normal, you'll get us on our social media, Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, at SportscastPod UK. Join us again next week.